So this one was for Offbrand, and it was a broadcast for Project L, Riot, and Red Bull. It was kind of like an overnight party to show some new footage at EVO 2023 for their new game Project L that's coming out, and give some content creators and pros a chance to play the game. So here's our opening area. We have 4 Panasonic BGH1s kind of set up here with some light matte Spectrum 4s and a light matte Spectrum 2L just to kind of give us some extra keys. This is one of the comp room setups where the players were going to be playing. We had to set up a total 16 cameras, 14 light mats, and then an additional probably 4 or 5 Astera Titan tubes just to kind of give us some. This was the open comp area and kind of where we were staging for the time being. And this was one of the stream rooms where pros can come in, kind of sit down at these setups, set up their own stream, and play Project L on their own Twitch streams. Just had a single key light, just a light matte Spectrum 2L lighting for them, and they all had their own dedicated BGHs with the DZO primes on them. There was also a room camera in the corner that kind of just give us an overall view for the broadcast to be able to cut to. Back out into the open area. This is kind of where the bar would be set up and kind of the open area for people to kind of hang out and just watch and kind of be a part of the stream. We had a little hallway camera here set up with 12mm just to kind of give us a be right back screen, something for broadcast to kind of cut to in between competition plays and couch setups. So this is where Riot set up kind of just some open play stations, and we're going to head back over to the broadcast area just to kind of give a view of kind of how we have this set up, and where my camera cart was base camped, and I'll show you a little bit of my mobile rig that I have set up for these shows. Got to get the Canes Cup with the Post Malone Edition Cup. So here I have the DZO 20-70 zoom lens on the BGH1. I bring my own personal small HD Indy 7 just to kind of give a bigger screen to kind of view, and then everything kind of powers through one V-mount battery, just so it's easier to kind of change out throughout the show. This is Andrew's innovative cart, and we kind of just live on this cart throughout the day. Now the esports arena is pretty cool. It's an open play area. You can kind of buy tickets and just play for the day, but it was closed specifically for this party. I believe they gave out some tickets at EVO to allow people to come and view, but for the most part, it was only people here for this Project L event. So right here, Andrew and I are kind of going around the venue and just trying to get shots for them to cut away to as like recaps to ad breaks. So Andrew's kind of commenting to them when they should start rolling in the broadcast room, and I'm just looking for areas and shots that are kind of good bumper shots for the broadcast. So here we went down to the lobby, kind of looked around, had some cool, RGB gamer-esque lights, and we just got a setup here right underneath the HyperX arena just to kind of give us an establishing shot of the venue. So here they have like this thing called the Hype Tunnel. It's part of the HyperX arena, and they're able to like change these lights. They usually have players do their walkouts from here, so I figured it would be a good little shot to kind of give them as a speed ramp going into the recap. And so here we're kind of getting geared up for the party. I'm just doing one last walkthrough, just checking my paths, making sure I'm ready for the show, seeing all the rooms that I can kind of get to, what angles I can get in these rooms. No way for me to really anticipate the amount of people that were going to be here, but it's always better to kind of walk your paths and walk your areas for broadcast, just so you can kind of know your angles and where you can and can't step and how to be the most efficient on the day. I'm just popping in each room, just checking out these angles, making sure everything is finalized. Now that we've set up all the lights, we've set up all the cameras, I can kind of do one last walkthrough and make sure everything is good to go. So here's the start of the show. Some people were starting to kind of, pile in, and people were starting to kind of play on the little stations here we had set up on the outsides. The broadcast was still up, and you could see it kind of playing in the background there on their big LED wall. So I was just trying to give broadcast as many shots as possible. When being a mobile camera for broadcast, there are times where a director will kind of call for your shots. You need to kind of stabilize and be ready, and then they'll cut to you for the shots because everything is kind of cut live if it is a live show. But it's also always best to kind of find a shot for them. They may not know what they're looking for until they see it. So it's always best to kind of just move around the space, kind of give them something different, give them different angles. Same angles you would use for like a recap or a documentary, but always best to try to give them as many as possible. So here, as you could see, I was live on the back wall there, and somebody kind of stood up. So I was trying to kind of anticipate for that, but wasn't able to kind of move away to another shot before that happened. It wasn't too big of a deal. This wasn't really the full show. This was kind of just like people funneling in and pre-show. Still trying to give them some good shots though, and some different angles of the gameplay actually happening. So at this point, I felt like they had kind of enough of just those screens, and I figured I'd move down the space, kind of give them just another view, another angle, maybe just like a little bit of a front angle of some players' faces and reactions as they're playing. These are always good moments to get some smiles and some cheers. You know, people are kind of having fun. It's not really a heavy competition area. It's more so like an open play area. So here we see Leffen, Super Smash Bros. Pro player for TSM, or Melee Pro. Also dabbles in other fighting games, kind of just hanging out and playing. So I figured here I would pop into one of the VIP rooms just to kind of hang out and see. So here I'm just trying to squeeze through. You can probably hear me saying camera moves. As alcohol started mixing in with a lot of people just like hanging out and the environment being a very loud environment, it was a little hard to communicate. I was thinking that this was going to be the most amount of people, but as you guys see in a little bit, there was a lot more people in the space. So again here, I'm standing next to James. He's one of the producers on the show. Just kind of working out what shots are going to work. This is Andrew. He is the DP on the shoot. We've got to get the supervisor view of him. So this was a host moment that they kept This is a host moment that they kept cutting to us for a couple of different moments throughout the broadcast. We had our host here. He would kind of come from the bar and then host some moments. They would cut away from comp play to kind of these little skits, and he would kind of call out players and then interview them as they went. You see Andrew there Hollywooding a Stereotitan too, just to kind of give us a little bit of a key light on him. The goal here is to not be too intrusive to them playing, as they are kind of competing against one another, even though it's for fun. Still kind of try to be involved as much as possible and get a good angle of both of them as they speak. You'll see me here kind of readjust. So right here I kind of readjusted. He was interviewing the person that was farthest. They still had good lighting from the key lights that we had set up earlier, the Spectrum 2Ls. But I wasn't able to kind of get around the table to kind of get a 2-shot, so I had to get a 3-shot, but it ended up working out really well here because he kind of interviewed back and forth with the mic, so that really worked out for us. And that's about it. We just kind of went around, did kind of the same thing. It was a little bit of a rinse and repeat. We set up for these host moments. We had them go in and interview throughout the night, and then we just got some general b-roll. I just found good shots for broadcast to cut to in between games and gameplay. Generally they would cut to me after the couch was speaking, or during the couch speaking if they were speaking about a specific moment, if there was a specific pro that shows up, or if there was somebody they wanted a specific shot of. So thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Backstage Esports, and catch you later.